Hello, BookTube. My name is Juan. I am just one reader. I look tired because I am tired. It's around 1 o'clock in the morning here in Mexico City, but I wanted to film this video. I really wanted to film some of my initial impressions and just overall thoughts and opinions upon finishing The Ink Black Heart, which is book 6. Wow, is it book 6 already? Book 6 in the Cormoran Strike series, which is the series that J.K. Rowling has been writing for quite some years now under the name of Robert Galbraith. So The Ink Black Heart, book 6 in the series. I've read, of course, all the books in the series. I have read everything that J.K. has written up until this point. I adore J.K. Rowling. I just love her. I think she's so smart, so clever. Every single interview that I have seen where she talks about her writing is just so delicious and just clever and bright, and she's so well spoken, and I just really admire her, and I love her storytelling. Of course, this is a series, and as it happens with most series, I think some of the books are better than others, and you find also like a personal connection with some books better than with others. And with this particular series, it certainly has been kind of, you know, ups and downs, like peaks and valleys, that kind of situation for me specifically, personally. As a reader, this is what I found in this series. Now, would I overall recommend this series to you? Yes, I think it's a great series. I think it's mostly a character-driven series, although it is a detective thriller kind of series. So, of course, plot is incredibly important, and there's like mystery and solving the crime, and these are just great whodunits. So if you enjoy plot-centered books, this I think will also work for you. Now, having said that, this book I was not a fan of. I did not really like this book. This is by far my least favorite in the series so far. So the first book I really loved. The second one was good, but I don't really have really fond memories of reading it. Book 3 was kind of weird, but I loved the weirdness and the dark places that it went to. Book 4 I really enjoyed, and book 5, which was Troubled Blood, was good, but it started to show the problems that now this book sort of epitomizes. So from book 5, which was Troubled Blood, it was very evident that no editing or minimum editing was happening. And the result was very frustrating for me, because in Troubled Blood, and I don't want to make this video all about Troubled Blood, but I just want to mention that because that's a problem that then happened even to a worse and greater degree here. In Troubled Blood, we could see that J.K. was writing pretty much without any editing. And the result was, as I was saying, very frustrating, because what ended up happening was some really great ideas, some really interesting concepts, some real great character interactions and dynamics, and just really great ideas, and a really poor, mediocre, chaotic, disorganized, jumbled execution. The Ink Black Heart epitomizes all of those problems. I didn't really care for the plot itself of this particular installment, but that's more of a personal thing, so that was more on me. This book deals with some kind of cyber investigation, cyber aspects of investigating that we hadn't seen in previous books, I think, before. So Strike and Robin are investigating this case, and they have to sort of find the identity of this anonymous persona, this username, who's online in this kind of cyberspace, this game. And I don't really care about any of that. I have to say I was very, very lukewarm and very uninterested just from the get-go on the whole cyber investigation. And then this book does something really brave and really interesting, something that I really applaud, but I hated it, which is the format. Like, there are just tons and tons and tons of online writing like this, which is so frustrating and cumbersome and bothersome. You follow a lot of Twitter threads and online chats, and I really, really, really commend it for its originality, and it's the first book in the series to ever do something like that. It's a really interesting concept. It's a really brave, original, like form, and I really liked the idea, but again, I was not interested, and it became really, really tiresome, especially if you consider this book is the longest in the series so far at a whopping 1012 pages. And let me tell you, I love a big book. I love myself some big books. I really love those chunkers that you just get lost into. I love long-winded descriptions and tons and tons and tons of dialogue and long scenes and long chapters. I love that. But this felt so unedited and so incredibly unnecessarily long. It was so bothersome. There were some chapters in here that I will admit, especially those kind of online like threads and chats, portions of the book. Some of them I just kind of skipped or skim read. I just skimmed over them because it was just kind of incomprehensible to me, and it was very hard to care about any of what was happening in many chapters because it just felt very inconsequential. And when a book is this long, you just really need to justify it, and it did not. This book had to be at least half its size, if not even shorter. I think it would have been better, a lot better, because I do think, Joe Rowling has some great ideas. She's Joe Rowling. I love her. What I love about this book, and I did love some stuff about this book, even though I am not giving it a good rating, I did like just J.K. Rowling's ability to sort of spin a good yarn. Her storytelling is always very engaging. Like, for example, when I picked this book up for the first time, I read the first chapter and I was completely entranced and enamored with these characters who are just, having a casual dinner, interacting, and it's so funny and so enjoyable and so lovely and tender and witty. And she's an incredibly humoristic kind of writer. I mean, it's so funny. The dialogue, specifically, the dialogue is what I love reading the most about Joe Rowling's works in general, including the Harry Potter books. Dialogue is where I think she shines the most. So I really love those scenes of banter, of dialogue, of character, those character development chapters. But then the other kind of cyber investigation, I was just not a fan of. There's some good stuff in here. I also think she's really, 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 really wonderful writing like big set pieces. Like, there are some sequences in this book where I could not like take my eyes from the book. I was just completely like hooked, and my eyes were just like there. I could not stop reading, and I just love when she does that. Sadly, for a book that comes in at a whopping 1012 pages, that's not enough. So, this book sadly is my least favorite of the series. I gave it 2 stars just because it felt very, very, very unpolished, in my humble opinion. Some people would probably love reading more, and maybe they don't have a problem with it, but I certainly felt it was not edited properly. I felt it was just filled with a lot of unnecessary adjectives and adverbs and, you know, like uh, anyway, it was very frustrating, and even though I applaud its originality in terms of pushing the form and the formatting of those kind of cyber texts, I really did not like reading them, and I was not interested in the plot, in the mystery. I never really got to care for the characters, like the side characters, other from the main characters that are usually constant characters in the series. The rest of the characters, the side characters, I was really, really, really not bothered by this book. But, from what I have seen, that's a very common opinion that people are having towards this book. I am really excited, though, to pick up the next book in the series, which just came out like a couple of weeks ago or months ago, which is The Running Grave. People are going crazy about it. All I've heard is great things. People are saying it's the best one in the series and just a great book. It's about a cult, and it's supposed to be great. So I can forgive you, Joe Rowling. You are still one of my favorites. I love you. I adore you. I love reading you. I have grown up reading Joe Rowling, and hopefully we will have many, many Joe Rowling books to come in the future. Thanks for watching this rant. I am just one reader, and I am tired. I will now go to bed.